All right, this is going to be my lesson critique over this worksheet that I found on ISL Collective over WH questions. To start off with, the steps immediately reminded me of a communicative approach. You are supposed to complete the questions with the correct question words. I do like that. However, I would change that to pair work just to make sure that there is communication throughout the exercise. In step two, you interview a friend using your requests, record the answers. I like that brings in listening and speaking skills. Also, it brings in writing skills because the student needs to record the colleagues' answers. This lesson also brings in reading exercises or reading practice as well, which I like, that it hits all four of those topics. I also enjoy that, like I said, that this is a communicative exercise, and what mainly, not only the communication in the directions, but also most of the questions on this worksheet are relevant to what you would ask someone if you didn't already know the answer. For instance, when's your birthday? Or how tall are you? Or how far do you live from here? That's really relevant since we live in Dallas, in the DFW area. And even though it's a very minor characteristic of this worksheet, but I like how colorful it is. It's very eye appealing. It makes it attractive to the students, which I like. So if you have the ability to print out in color, that would be awesome. And as far as what I would change about the activity, or maybe more of the negatives, it's kind of all jumbled together, but I had already mentioned in step one, I would make this pair work just so that the students were conversing with each other about the different possibilities of which question to ask. There's a very minor spelling error on this worksheet. It's to me a little irrelevant for the United States. We spell color COLOR, and yeah, I would just change that. I feel like this activity lacks creativeness for the students. They don't have the ability to create their own questions, making it even more relevant to themselves. So I would just add in a section where they create a couple of their own questions that they could ask students to interview. And in that aspect, the teacher could make this a little longer of an activity or shorter activity, depending on how many questions they want the students to make. And then another thing that I don't like about this is that there's no explanations of when to use the different WH questions. Now, I think that the explanation kind of depends on what level that you're teaching. If this was, say, a beginner level, they may need a visual aid or something to refer back to, maybe to help them out a little bit more. I guess that's why they have their colleague, but that's just my opinion. So overall, to improve this activity, I would add the answer guideline for teachers so that it just helps with time management. I would change the directions for step one to be a pair work activity instead, just to, again, increase the communication between the students. I'd also add into the lesson, again, a time where the students can create their own questions to interview other students. And Also, maybe depending if the students needed it, I could have it set aside for response sentence stems, since there isn't really anything aiding the students for how to start a response to the questions. I would have sentence stems set aside for the students if, again, they needed it depending on the level that they were at. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.